Jefferson, just how good is he? What stands out about him?
Yeah, he's playing great. I know their record doesn't, show stuff, but I think their defense overall has actually been pretty solid. It's kind of similar to us, where the offense hasn't carried as much, but he's been great. He's playing. I've played him a few times in my career, but he's almost even taken a step this year of just his power and his speed, and I think his hand combination, pass rushing. But no, he's playing great. He's definitely, the straw on their defense. So something we have to, focus on.
Does he go both sides?
Yeah, he plays the three technique most of the time, but he'll line up at the shade, he'll line up at the five. In true pass situation, he kind of gets to pick where he wants to go, but he plays on the right and the left. So I think all the interior guys, there's been a few that he lines up on the outside. Everybody will get get their hands on him a little bit.
Tevin look last week when he came in?
Yeah, it was really solid. I mean, he's a big dude. He moves people in the run game, and I think you saw that on a few of those runs. Like, there were some really good double teams and some movement. He's played a lot of football in this league, and he's been a starter his whole career. So I think him having a chance to go in there and just play and get his feet wet a little bit this year. He's been our big tight end a lot, but he did some good things at guard.
And what was it like to see Deshaun back out on the practice field yesterday?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I have my lockers next to him, so I've seen him for the last year and a little bit rehabbing every day. I mean, he's come in, he's put in work, he's done his due diligence. Like, I think the work has shown. So just taking that next step and being able to be on the practice field, I think for him probably it feels like he's part of the guys again as well. You get to go outside and be part of it. So we were all pumped for him to just see him out there, and he picked the coldest day of the year to go out there, but it was cool to see him.
Joel, did you know that Coach Fancy was going to rotate Tevin in, and how much of a transition is that for you, having someone rotate in alongside?
Yeah, we knew last week on Wednesday. We didn't know exactly what they were going to rotate, but we knew him and Wyatt were going to rotate a little bit. I mean, for me, on the other side, not too much. I know probably Poe and Jack at the time. KT came in, probably, they were splitting reps during the week, so they obviously got some reps with them, during the week. So we had an understanding of what was happening. But like I said, both of them were very professional. And both, I think, played really, really well last week. So it was a positive in that fact, and I think everybody kind of was. It was a smooth transition.
What does it kind of say about Wyatt? That obviously that's tough to hear that you're going to have to rotate, but he sort of embraced that, helping Tevin get ready and still doing his job too.
Yeah, I mean, class act, professional. Since he's been here, I've probably played, more football games on the offense with. Wyatt is probably the guy, right? I've had a lot of games with that guy, and I tell people all the time, he's going to come and work. He's gonna put the team first. He's going to try his butt off. He's tough and competitive. All those things you want, and so to hear that news, obviously you're devastated and you want to make it work. He wasn't happy about it, but I think he came in and he helped Tev, and they were talking all week, and he worked, and I think both, like I said, both of them played great. I think Wyatt played, one of his better games in a while last week, and he was motivated. Obviously, he got banged up, but all that is just professionalism, what he's done, since he's been here.
Hey, Joel, it seems like Dylan Sampson is getting more involved the last couple of weeks. How have you seen him improve?
Yeah, he's been great. I remember the first game of the year, he had all those catches and was making those plays out of the backfield, and I think we all saw his ability, and then we went through a 6-game stretch where every run he had was someone unblocked off the edge or something. It was never. I've been joking in the last 3 weeks. We finally blocked some plays for him to make some big things. But I think when he gets the ball and he has a little bit of space, he makes big plays happen. In the passing game and the running game, we saw the screen a couple weeks ago. So it's great. He's a weapon for our offense.
Joel, there's not a starter on the offensive line who's signed beyond this year. How's that contributing to your future decision?
I don't think that has any place in my decision. I think it is unprecedented. You could have a whole new lineup, if things fall the right way, or they can, re-sign some guys, or things happen. But for me, it's really just going to be, that's more of a personal decision on it. I think they'll figure out the guys if they need to go that route.
Does the fact that you're heading toward another losing season, does that affect your decision for next year? Yeah,
it all factors in. If if you're making a Super Bowl run every year, it might be easier to be like, hey, let's go one more. You know what I mean? Like we have a chance. Like I think you saw Kelsey at the end of his career in Philadelphia. Like they were fighting for Super Bowls. He had won a couple Super Bowls, but he wanted to try and get another one. And I think that's part of it. But there's so many factors, and I think first and foremost, it's just health and body and all that is the main contributor. But you obviously factor in all those different decisions.
How are you feeling this point here?
Good. I mean, it's week 14, right? Like, there's going to be bumps and bruises, but I've, we got a great staff here that has helped me this year, and we got some really individualized plans for me. So it's been positive, but I'm feeling as good as you can right now.
I don't know if you pay too much attention to the PFA rankings, both team-wide and individually, but I took a peek yesterday, you were like number 12 among NFL guards this year. Do you feel kind of that's an accurate portrayal of the type of season that you're having?
Yeah, I think as an offensive lineman, you want, like, it's just bred in us. You want team success. You want offensive success as much as possible. You get coached and talking to the coaches and how they coach me. I think that's accurate. You know what I mean? I think there's been some really positive things that I've still done, but you just want success. Like, you want the team to do better. You want to win games. Like, you walk in the locker room after a win, and that's where all the work, pays off. And so that's always my first thought in those type of situations.
John,
You good? David Njoku, guest appearance.
on that first 4th and 1, Ethan and then Tommy just talked about how the defensive line stunted or moved. So, like, what's the counter for that for you guys?
Yeah, we were short yardage, kind of expecting them to play their gaps, and that's why I think you see some of us firing off, and you're trying to get a yard, so you're fighting for every inch. Truthfully, like, there's other plays we can run in those situations where you're not as, like, forward and wedging, but also you can be a little bit more under control as a player as well, and ready to expect that. But I think we'll correct those mistakes and be ready to roll once we get some short yardage opportunities this week.
You guys relish those, like when Kevin's going through the thought process of making those calls and it's close down like that, chance to stay on the field, like how much, especially in offensive lineman, do you sort of relish that opportunity and try to cover it?
Yeah, we anytime you get a chance where it's like, hey, we're running the ball, we're trying to get a yard, like, that's our time to shine, and so we want to make those plays happen. And in that game, they're big moments. Like, those two plays are huge moments, and we've been pretty successful. Like, I think our other short yardage this year has been pretty successful, and it was unfortunate we didn't make those work this week.
How did you see Shador maybe take a step up?
Yeah, he had, that one drive where we were running the ball, I think we had 8 or 9 straight runs, and then he threw that ball to Fannin. I think that was a big-time play. Like, you have your chance. You've been running the ball. You take a shot, and he stepped up and made those plays. I think he was taking the easy stuff. We had a lot of screen. It was, windy and stuff. We had a lot of screens and short yardage plays that he was executing. I mean, his huddle presence, his ability to, call the plays and get us on the same page, I think has improved over the last couple of years. So I think last couple of weeks. So it's been really good.
Good.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Joel.